everyone, and welcome back. Get ready to journey back in time because today we're diving into the world of Neanderthals. They've long been painted as, well, dim-witted cave dwellers. But the research we're about to explore reveals a far more complex and, frankly, fascinating story.
It's true. The more we discover about Neanderthals, the more we uncover just how much we shared in common with them. And one of the most captivating areas of study is just how intertwined our ancestry actually is.
Right, like one study really throws a wrench into the whole out-of-Africa narrative we've all heard about.
Oh yeah, this one is fascinating. They use a pretty cutting-edge method called IBD mix to trace Neanderthal ancestry in modern humans. And get this, it doesn't require a modern reference population at all, which is a huge deal in this field.
Okay, so IBDMEX, it's like the superpowered genetic detective uncovering secrets hidden in our DNA. That's cool, but what exactly did it find that's got everyone so interested?
Well, one of the biggest shockers was a much stronger signal of Neanderthal ancestry in African individuals than previously thought, which really challenges that whole assumption that Neanderthal genes were basically absent in African populations.
Wait, hold on. More Neanderthal ancestry in Africa? I thought Neanderthals were mainly hanging out in Europe and Asia. Did they, catch a ride with some migratory birds down to Africa or something?
Uh-huh, not quite. It's more likely about migration, but with a twist. See, populations have always been on the move, migrating and mixing for millennia. So this study suggests a big factor is those migrations back to Africa from populations who already carried Neanderthal genes.
So imagine this. Your ancestors are living in Europe, they've mixed with Neanderthals, and generations later, their descendants migrate back to Africa, bringing those Neanderthal genes with them. It's like a genetic boomerang. Genes going out, doing their thing, and coming right back again.
Exactly, and it gets even cooler. This study also found evidence of gene flow into Neanderthal populations from early humans who had left Africa.
Whoa, wait a minute. So it wasn't just a one-way street. It wasn't just modern humans picking up a little Neanderthal DNA along the way. We were swapping genes with them, too.
It definitely seems that way. This really flips the script. Turns out our relationship with Neanderthals was a two-way street.
Wow, that's a family reunion I'd love to see. This is seriously blowing my mind. So it wasn't just some weird quirk in Africa, right? This was happening all over.
Absolutely. This research points to a much larger trend. Every single modern human population studied so far carries remnants of Neanderthal genomes. We're talking a global legacy woven into our very DNA.
Wow, so we're all walking around with a little bit of Neanderthal in us. That's both incredible and makes you wonder just how much have we underestimated the extent of their DNA in our genomes?
That's the million-dollar question. And it seems previous studies might have missed some crucial pieces of the puzzle. For instance, they thought East Asians had way more Neanderthal ancestry than Europeans. But this new study suggests those earlier methods didn't fully grasp the impact of these back migrations we talked about.
So, like those old blurry photos, we're finally getting a clearer picture thanks to these new techniques. This is all so fascinating, but I gotta ask, if we're all carrying a bit of Neanderthal, what does that really tell us about them? Were they really the brutish cave dwellers we often imagine?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it leads us to another captivating area of research, understanding who Neanderthals really were.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they were much more than just those stereotypical cavemen.
Okay, so Neanderthals were more than just those stereotypical cavemen, huh? But I gotta admit, I'm still kind of stuck on that whole brutish caveman image. Did these sources dig into what they were really like? Like, what were they actually capable of?
Oh, they totally did. And the findings are really changing how we think about Neanderthal capabilities. Like, for one, the archaeological evidence shows they were definitely not unintelligent. We're talking complex tools, using fire. And get this, there are even signs they might have built structures.
Wait, hold up. Neanderthal architects, are we picturing, Stonehenge, but with a more, I don't know, Neanderthal style?
Well, maybe not Stonehenge, but still impressive. Deep inside this cave in France, researchers found this 176,000-year-old ring structure. And it's made completely out of broken stalagmite pieces. Just think about that for a second. To make that happen, they would have needed some way to light things up, some idea of structural planning, not to mention a serious understanding of that underground environment.
That's crazy. Building something that complex, especially in the dark, is a huge accomplishment, even for us, with all our fancy modern tools. Are there any other examples of them building stuff, or was the stalagmite thing just a one-off?
There are some other really cool discoveries out there, though maybe not as elaborate. Like, there's this 44,000-year-old dwelling they found in Ukraine, and it's made using mammoth bones, which suggests that they could build some pretty substantial shelters. Definitely makes you rethink that whole simple caveman image.
Okay, so they were expert tool makers, they used fire, now they're architects, definitely not your average cave dwellers. What about their diet? Were they really just chowing down on giant slabs of meat all day long?
That's another misconception these sources help to debunk. While they definitely hunted and ate meat, the evidence suggests they weren't just carnivores. There was this really cool review of paleoethnobotanical research, and it found a surprising variety of plant taxa, over 60 different kinds from all these archaeological sites linked to Neanderthals.
So they liked their veggies too, huh? Makes you feel a little better about your ancient relatives, even if they didn't have supermarkets. But it makes their disappearance even more of a mystery. Do these sources say anything about what might have caused their extinction?
Ah, the million-dollar question. Sadly, there's no easy answer. Even with all the science we have, the exact cause of Neanderthal extinction is still a big debate. The sources offer some possibilities, but nothing definitive.
Well, hit me with them. I'm ready to hear some extinction theories.
One long-standing theory is climate change. But there's a problem with that because Neanderthals had already lived through a bunch of ice ages. It makes you wonder if there had to be something way more drastic to wipe them out.
Makes sense. So if it wasn't just the weather, what else could it be?
Well, another possibility is this massive volcanic eruption that happened in Italy something like 40,000 years ago, which is right around the time Neanderthals vanished. And an event like that could seriously mess things up on a massive scale.
Okay, a volcanic eruption. That's a strong contender. Any other theories out there?
There is one more that's super interesting, though we're not totally sure about it yet. And it involves the idea of diseases being passed from modern humans to Neanderthals. See, there's evidence that suggests cannibalism wasn't unheard of among Neanderthals. And if you combine that with a new pathogen, something introduced by modern humans, it could have been really bad news for them.
A prehistoric pandemic, huh? Now that's kind of creepy, but I can see how it could happen. So we've got climate change, a volcanic eruption, maybe a disease outbreak. Sounds like we might never know for sure what took them down. But their story doesn't end there, does it? Because they left their mark on our DNA, right?
Exactly. And that brings us to another fascinating piece of this puzzle, the impact of interbreeding between Neanderthals and modern humans. Because it wasn't a dead end. It left a lasting legacy in our very cells.
You're saying some of those Neanderthal genes might have actually been good for us. Now that's a twist. Tell me more about these genetic gifts.
Okay, so one of the coolest examples is this gene called OAS1. And it plays a huge role in how our immune system responds to viruses. Research shows that this gene might actually have gotten a beneficial upgrade from Neanderthals, which could have helped our ancestors fight off those prehistoric viruses.
Wow. So not only do we carry their genes, some of them might have helped us survive. That's wild. Are there other examples like this? Could there be other ways those encounters are still affecting us today?
That's exactly what's so fascinating. We're finding more and more evidence that Neanderthal genes could be influencing modern humans in tons of ways. We're talking about everything from our risk of getting certain diseases to, get this, even our physical appearance and how we behave. It's like they're still with us, hidden within the very code that makes us who we are.
So we're not just carrying around a little bit of Neanderthal DNA. It's possible that it's still shaping us today. Our health, our looks, even our behavior. It's unbelievable. Makes you wonder what else is out there, what else we'll discover as we learn more about these ancient connections.
It really is amazing, and it highlights something really important. Our understanding of Neanderthals, and I'd even say our understanding of ourselves, it's always changing. Every new discovery, every new genetic analysis has the potential to completely rewrite what we thought we knew.
That's what I think makes these deep dives so exciting. It's not just about memorizing a bunch of facts. It's about being open to new possibilities, understanding that science is an ongoing journey. We're always discovering something new.
You got it. And as we start to wrap up our deep dive into the world of Neanderthals, I want to leave you with a couple of questions to think about.
Hit me with them. My brain's already doing backflips thinking about all this Neanderthal stuff.
All right, so first, what other secrets could be hidden in those ancient pieces of DNA we all carry around? What surprises might be lurking in our genomes just waiting for science to catch up?
Ooh, that's a good one. What other echoes of our past are still inside us? I like it. What's the second one?
Okay, this one's a bit deeper. How does all this new information about Neanderthals, our closest ancient relatives, how does it change how we see ourselves? What does it even mean to be human? Does it challenge that definition, maybe even expand it?
Wow. No, that's a powerful question. It makes you realize that the story of Neanderthals isn't just about them, it's about us too, right? It's about understanding where we fit in this whole grand scheme of things, recognizing that we're connected to everyone and everything that came before us.
Yes, exactly. And to me, that's the real power of digging into these ancient mysteries. It's not just about digging up facts, it's about understanding ourselves better, understanding our history, our place in the world, challenging what we think we know, and realizing that we'll probably never stop discovering new things.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Honestly, I'm seeing everything a little differently after this deep dive. It's humbling, eye-opening, even a bit mind-blowing to explore the world of Neanderthals and see how connected we are to them.
It's been awesome exploring all this with you, and just remember to stay curious.
Yeah.
Never stop asking questions, never stop exploring the mysteries of our past. It's what makes all this so fascinating.